It was about 10 years ago when my mom started showing some signs of Alzheimer's, and I guess you could say it got worse and worse and worse. 5 years ago, my sister and I talked my parents into moving into an independent living, just so give my dad a little bit of help. And then this March, my mom moved into memory care, and it's been tough for the family. And I know Alzheimer's isn't easy for anyone at all.
And I'm so excited to be able to introduce you to my friend, Nancy Turco, who has been working in memory care communities for 15 years. She has so much experience just interacting with people with Alzheimer's and dementia and really being able to give us some insight as to what they might be experiencing, because I think it's really hard for us to understand and certainly know how we can best help them. So thanks so much for being with us and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you for having me.
One of the terms that we hear a lot is sundowning. Let's talk a little bit about what that is.
Okay, well, sundowning has been studied for about 60 years now, and it does have to do with the lighting and the time of day. One of the things I want to mention is that helps is to have those daylight bulbs, those new kind of bulbs, to put those in the corners, because people that have dementia get scared with shadows.
Oh, interesting.
And when this happens with the when they get the start to sundown, they get very nervous and they get fretful about wanting to go home and where are their mother and father and things like that. So closing the shades, people can see themselves in the television. So it's best to have the television on, something non-threatening like Andy Griffith, and certainly not the news.
Right.
Yes. And so that's the main thing to do, is to have the lighting, just the right lighting for the people.
I know my mom enjoyed, so to speak, having the TV on, having that noise, the sound, and but she would also get fidgety at times. And how do you deal with that?
Well, to have an activity in the afternoon, there's been a lot of studies about music. And having music about a half hour before supper time is always good. Something that they enjoy and not that the 30-year-old enjoys.
And is the sundowning, is it just something that happens just in their brain? What is it coming from?
It does have to do with the rhythm of their bodies, especially if they haven't had a good night's sleep or if they've been overstimulated during the day, like visiting with family or out shopping at too many different places. So the idea is to limit those to the morning. That would be the first thing. And then also let them have a nap, but no more than half hour. And that's about a half hour before their typical sundowning starts.
And the sundowning can happen at different times. It's not necessarily just at sundown, right?
Yes, that's correct. We've had people, when I worked, that were sundowning at about 2:00 in the afternoon, looking for their mother, wanting to go home. And then we had others this one woman was fine all day long until about 5:00. And then she had to find her babies. She was looking for her babies and very, very stressed and frightful about that. So
I know a lot of people in our group are having to deal with Alzheimer's and try to figure things out. But everyone has a different situation, not only with their parents, but also some parents are in memory care. Some people are in assisted living. Some people are living at home with their kids. Some people are living still by themselves. Does it matter in that respect about how you handle the different situations, especially with sundowning?
Well, I think if you weren't home with your parent, to try to make sure that the light would be even enough mid-afternoon if no one were going to be there. And it probably would be best having the shades down in the afternoon, and getting them to have some sunlight during the day is also very important.
Wherever they're living.
Right.
And I was just going to say, it's kind of funny for us that my mom has always loved a schedule, but she really loves a schedule now, where she's looking at her clock or looking at her phone that has the clock on it. And she knows, even though she'll forget some things, she knows, it's noon, it's time to eat, or it's 5, it's time to eat, or it's 3 and it's time for something else. And does that play a factor also in the sundowning as far as just being regulated and being structured?
Sure, it sure does. And having structure like that is very important. I'm glad your mom has that, because most people that are in, in their own home or by themselves, especially, don't have that structure. And that's when things really go haywire with sundowning, because they aren't sure what they're supposed to do next.
Yeah.
And that's kind of neat. Your mom can still tell time, because a lot of people cannot tell time.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for, as if you are working, if your parent is still living with you, because obviously in a memory care community, they know how to handle these things and can be on top of it. But if you are caring for your parent with Alzheimer's, what advice would you give when you notice that they are having these issues with sundowning? Besides I like the ideas of keeping the drapes drawn and making sure there aren't shadows. Are there ways that you should communicate with them?
I think reassuring them that things are going to be okay, and have them help with simple activities, folding towels, even rearranging a drawer sometimes, or sorting laundry, even if it's laundry from the other day that's already been washed. We've had people say, gee, again, I just folded these yesterday and here they are back again. That part of it, they're willing to help. Rolling yarn is very good. It sounds very simple, but it's not all that simple sometimes. And trying to get it into a ball and telling them that this is for the kids, doing crafts and things like that, and telling them that you're getting it ready for a preschool, because that way that saves their dignity. It's not anything babyish that they have. I remember one time doing books for the ESL kids at one of the elementary schools, and our residents really, really enjoyed that. They made up simple sentences, and then I typed them up, and they cut out pictures, and there was a real sense of importance. I think that is key for people, especially during sundowning, that they are needed. There's nothing to worry about, that they're safe, and they are home, as comfortable as home is.
Yeah. My mom's she's over 80 and she's done laundry for more than 70 years. And yet she was visiting my sister just for an afternoon. My mom and dad were there before she moved to memory care. And my sister was doing some laundry and my mom just started helping. And she just had this sense of accomplishment. She felt better. And my sister was like, Mom, you don't have to help with this. My mom wanted to, but you could tell it also made her feel better.
Right. And a key to that too is we've had families that I'll say, well, have them empty the dishwasher or fill the dishwasher or clear the table. And so many times they mean well, but a family member will say, oh, she does it all wrong. Well, then do it again after she goes to bed.
Exactly.
It's that dignity factor and them knowing that they are being helpful. It's the process and not the end result of what they're doing. And that's very important to remember when you're working with someone with dementia.
Yeah.
Such good advice.
Yeah. Nancy, thank you so much. We're going to have you back to talk some more because there is so much to talk about with Alzheimer's.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell you what, that's the hardest thing with Alzheimer's is everyone is a little bit different depending on their situation and what their memory problems are, if it's short term, if it's long term, if it's both. And then just the environment that you're in, if they're living still by themselves, if they're living with their kids, if they're living at independent living, assisted living, memory, there's just so many factors. And I know that's the hardest thing for us with my mom. And it's hard for everybody. So there's so many things that we're still going to talk about with Alzheimer's. So be patient because there's a lot more to come.
All right. Well, thanks. Yeah. So many things to be able to address. And if you have suggestions or ideas of specific things that you'd like us to cover, just let us know.